So hi everybody, and welcome to this part of the Cyber Resilience Forum that's been set up by the Investment Association. So this section I'll be discussing the relationship that Anomaly has with the Investment Association and I guess our long-standing relationship and the group that we work with together called Titan. So I'll go through a bit of a brief agenda here. In the first part of the meeting today, I will give a little bit of an introduction to myself. Actually, when we're live on the call, another colleague of mine will be on the call, and I'll also give him a brief introduction. I'll then discuss Anomaly, the Investment Association, and Titan, and where our relationship has stemmed from, and why we exist and why we collaborate so heavily. And then what we'll go through is a little bit of a platform overview. So I'll be able to give you a little bit of a run through of what ThreatStream is, why it exists, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a number of very simple use cases that you can actually take away today, and I would have no doubt that you would be able to do them easily. Some of those use cases will include, setting up your MITRE ATT&CK security controls, creating sandbox detonations, collaborating via the Trusted Circle, and last but not least, the Anomaly blog, which has some really relevant information in there. And then at the end, as always, there's a chat box in the bottom right there. If you have any questions, please feel free to run them by us. So a brief introduction to me. Who am I? My name is Patrick Fox. I am a customer success manager here at Anomaly. I look after a number of our customers within Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Pretty much my job is to be the professional middleman. So anyone who uses our platform within that region, the accounts that I manage, I help them with adoption internally with the platform. I also help with training, onboarding, and a host of other Anomaly-based topics. On the call, when it is live, will be my colleague Parthy Sankar. Parthy is one of our senior solutions engineers. So pretty much he sits alongside me. A bit of a Batman and Robin relationship. I would like to say I'm Batman, but that would definitely be Parthy. He looks after a number of the technical queries that our customers look after. So let's talk about the Investment Association's group Titan and Anomaly. Why this engagement and why this this relationship has been formed within the investment management space. Technology often sits to the side a little bit because investment management, it's about money. Now we felt that these sort of smaller to mid-sized investment management houses, even the larger ones, deserve to have the exposure to a market-leading platform like ours, and hence why we partnered up with the Investment Association and created the user group that is Titan, so that some of the most exciting investment management houses in the UK get to use a market-leading platform like Anomaly. So a few notes here. Basically, one of the key reasons why we have set up this relationship, or why we collaborated via this relationship, was that we wanted to help increase cyber awareness and resilience within a Titan member base. It's incredibly important to remain resilient as cyber threats are becoming more and more sophisticated over time. What we also wanted to do is be able to provide you with access to literally the market-leading threat intelligence platform. ThreatStream is used by some of the world's most exciting, most successful businesses. Why can't you also use it? It's an incredibly powerful tool, and as a user base of Titan members, for now you actually get this platform for free. which is pretty cool. Also, one of the important aspects of being a Titan user, you get to be a part of collection and management of threats that will help you for more efficient planning in the future. So knowing where you're at, obviously will help you drive investment internally to new technologies, procuring new technologies, and having a little bit of a little bit of direction, because sometimes that's hard. And most importantly, the last point that I do raise about the relationship with Anomaly and the Investment Association is, how good is it to have a group of like-minded, cyber-aware members to share information in the fight against cybercrime? Because let's face it, what would be the point in threat intelligence if we weren't sharing? Because then it wouldn't be intelligence. It only becomes intelligence when we gain a hell of a lot of context on it. So that is one of the key things that I think is great about, I would call it the Titan Club. So before we go into the use cases, I think it's very important that I give you a little bit of an overview of the platform, what the platform is, why it's there, and how it can be used. Because I'm going to give you some really simple use cases, but it's also worthwhile knowing what the platform does. So this is our flagship product. This is Anomaly ThreatStream, and it is a straight up threat intelligence platform. So as you can see here, there's a hell of a lot of data that goes into ThreatStream. So there's curated open source data. So if it was just open source data, there would be a hell of a lot of craziness going in there, but it is curated. There is also the opportunity to bring in premium third-party data. We have multiple partners, the likes of Proofpoint, Polyswarm, CrowdStrike, etc., that also are able to provide information into the Anomaly ThreatStream platform. We are absolutely spoiled. I talk about internal intelligence. We are absolutely spoiled. We have a team called the ATR team at Anomaly, and that's our Anomaly Threat Research team. Now, we're incredibly spoiled to have some of, the highest gold standard threat researchers working internally and constantly feeding information into ThreatStream. And last but not least, shared intelligence. This is where you guys come in as a group of trusted circle users. We will go through trusted circles in a short period, but sharing intelligence is incredibly important. So think of it like this: all this information goes into ThreatStream. ThreatStream, does what it does best, and it operationalizes that information. It makes it, aesthetically pleasing to view, so in easier formats, and gives you the opportunity to make that data usable, make that intelligence usable. Now, the third stage, I guess you could call it, is starting, if you have got the likes of SIM tools, firewalls, intrusion protection systems, endpoint security, etc. It is also possible to integrate them with ThreatStream. Obviously, that's a further conversation that that can happen down the line, but that's when you go through the kind of maturity scale. Now, overall, what that gives you is prioritized threat intelligence, what you need to be looking at, what's affecting your area. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was Anomaly Lens. This is very, very simple. So Anomaly Lens is an application that you can have in your browser in Google Chrome. And if a page looks a little bit funky, or there's an article that you're saying, this is a bit suspect, you can click on that, and it gives you a full rundown. I think this is the perfect way of putting it: knowledge at a glance. So you click it, and it gives you, contextualized information about what you're looking at, and then reverts back to ThreatStream. Now, you do get this as Titan users. It is the freemium version, so there's only a number of scans, but it's worthwhile utilizing this tool as well. It's really, really good. So that brings me on to going through some of the use cases that I was discussed at the start. So this is what you see when you come into ThreatStream. You probably it won't look as complicated for you guys. Bear in mind, I'm a customer success manager at Anomaly, so I've got a little bit of everything in here. So the first thing that I'm going to go through with you is the MITRE ATT&CK security coverage page that we've got under Manage and MITRE ATT&CK. Now, I would highly I would highly recommend using this as a long-term project. So this isn't something, you're probably seeing all of these colors going, what is this? Some of you might even have heard of MITRE ATT&CK, but this is a long-term project. Think of it from left to right. So from initial access to impact. And think of the threat actor sort of sitting on the outside left-hand side here saying, how can I gain entry here? Now, what I'm going to talk about today, just briefly, is one of these, and it's phishing. Now, if you're looking to see what security coverage you've got, the perfect way of doing this is saying, let's say, for example, you've got an email through, and you're like, that's a bit funky. I don't like the look of that. 9 times out of 10, emails like that will be blocked by an email blocker. And if you don't have an email blocker, you can put this as none. Now it will go red, and that will show you where do you need to invest next? In an email blocker. It's really that simple. And once you get something, let's say, for example, Mimecast, which is an industry-known email blocker, you can say your security coverage is high. So the more greens that you see here, now, obviously, all of these won't be applicable to your organization. You might not have some of these things. But whenever you go through it and have a deep dive and an analysis of your cyber infrastructure and where your potential intrusions could be, this is a really good way of doing that, because it's as simple as saying sort of yes or no. If you've got something sort of in the middle, this is a very simple process to follow. The reason why I've picked phishing is because, let's face it, we've all received phishing emails. Now, the one thing I would say is, phishing emails are certainly getting way more sophisticated. So some might come through and they might look like really legit. It's so easy to go onto someone's LinkedIn. Let's say a CEO at a company, and basically find out pretty much who their entire team is. And you can set up an email. These hackers can set up emails and make them look as legit as ever. Now, this is why I'm going to go to my next point. So if something looks funky, what do? 9 times out of 10, you'll want to say, I don't really trust that link that's under there. Dan from operations wouldn't send me that. So that's why we've got this. It's called a sandbox. Some of you might have heard of this. The best way I can describe a sandbox is like a nuclear bunker, but only the opposite way around. Now, what I mean by that is it's a safe environment where, let's say you get an email through and there's an attachment or there's a link in the email. It's a safe place where you can actually go and you can pretty much throw the malicious link or file into, and the sandbox will open it in a safe environment. So basically, it is as simple as this. I'm going to use a very simple example. We'll not do one today because it does take a few moments, but it's as simple as uploading the file from the email into here, or let's say it's your URL. Let's use this URL. I know it's not malicious, but for talk's sake, I think this is a bit funky. I'll put it in here, okay? Now you get 4 detonations per day, 2 in each, Joe Sandbox and VMware. Now let's go with Joe Sandbox. I'm on a Mac, and you can tag it if you would like. This is just for tracking purposes. But this is where it really comes into its own. You can share it with the Titan Trusted Circle. So really all you want to know is if it's malicious. Now this may take a few moments, so we'll not sit around waiting, but it's as simple as going analyze. So what that does in the background now is it detonates within the sandbox. So I'm going to show you an example of, this is a malicious one down here. if you go into the report, you will see in the top left-hand corner that it's malicious. Now, some of you may not look at the amount of information you get here, everything that you could possibly need, really. You know, right down to signatures, literally everything that sandbox detonation has found out from that file and what they're trying to achieve. Okay. Now, really, 9 times out of 10 as Titan users, what you want to know is it malicious? And this example is obviously malicious. Now, if you start becoming a really heavy user of ThreatStream, you know, you can add it to investigations and you can start doing a little bit of a trend analysis and finding out more. But that's certainly for another conversation. Now, this is 2 really simple use cases that you can use every day. You know, one for a long-term project and one for, you know, just ad hoc activity to help you in your everyday to help drive down the risk of, you know, the risk of simply opening up your infrastructure to a world of problems. You want to find these things before they really affect your business. Now, the next thing within the platform that I'm going to speak about, and this is one thing that I think is really helpful when it comes to Titan, is our trusted circles. Okay, so I guess what you could say is, you know, what is a trusted circle? It sounds pretty easy, and it is. So it's just a group of users that, you know, that are sharing threat intelligence and information among each other. Now, what's pretty cool is that these are all Titan users sharing information with each other, saying, hey, look, you know, this is a fraudulent email, fraudulent domain, fraudulent URL. This is use helping each other, and this is one of the coolest things about the Titan user group, because let's face it, you're all within the investment management space. So if a threat actor is targeting one of your competitors, the likelihood is they're going to be trying to attack you as well. You know, that is your main competitor. You can bet they're going to try you at some stage. So you need to be able to drive that risk down by sharing with each other. This is a pretty cool club to be a part of. And one of the recent updates that we've had, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, is ThreatStream Chat, where if you find something out there that's a little bit funky or something you don't necessarily trust, you can drop in a chat in the chat box into the trusted circle users and say, hey, has anyone seen this, as an anonymous user? And you can basically say, has anyone seen this? And people can start collaborating straight away. It's great. It's absolutely great. Now, one other thing you can also do, if you go into Analyze and Threat Models, you can actually go into this in a little bit more detail. So if you go down to the left-hand side of filter options, you can see trusted circles, and I'll go to Titan. And what you get here is you get the sharing mechanism of, I'll go into this, for example, a threat bulletin. So this is a threat bulletin of the Microsoft Exchange exploitation. Now, if anyone was using Microsoft Exchange, you know, everyone was worried when this was going on. And this gives you pretty much a full threat report of what happened, you know, overview of the attacks, etc., etc. And this is all shared within your trusted circle. And it's really in-depth research at the touch of a button. Simple, really, really simple stuff. And, you know, you might not, you know, your job might not be 100% within the cyber remit, but at least you've got an eye on it and you know what to do. That's what's important. So that's pretty much the 3 kind of use cases that I had wanted to go through on ThreatStream. As I say, we have the MITRE ATT&CK framework, where you can you can have a long-term project where you can start having a little bit of a step back and a look at your infrastructure to see what you need to bolster to create a better cyber infrastructure or a more robust cyber infrastructure. I call it building the wall. So it's a plan to build a pretty big wall. We talked about the sandbox detonations, really easy. Simply just go in there, do the detonation, and it gives you full contextualized information on what you need to know about potential malicious links or phishing emails or files, etc., and trusted circles. So the great group that you guys are all a part of, Titan is a big trusted circle that shares information, and this is what I think is one of the best things about being part of Titan. I think this is one of the best things about Titan is, sorry. So that's great. Now, last but not least, what I would recommend everyone on this call to do if you get the chance is to sign up to the Anomaly blog. Now, don't worry, this is not like subscribing to marketing emails, because it's not that at all. From like an e-commerce site or something, this is relevant information. The Anomaly blog, as you'll see here, it's not every single day. It's like quite sporadic when something happens, or there's something that needs to be discussed, along with weekly threat reports. Now, as you can see, we've got this weekly threat report that comes from our ATR team, which is Anomaly Cyber Watch. And if it doesn't, if it's not applicable to you straight away, if anything, it's pretty interesting reading. So it gives you full rundown of trending cyber news at the glance of an eye. You get this all, at the glance of an eye. If, let's say, you're busy, you haven't had a chance to go through things in detail, and you want just a little bit of an overview of what's going on in the market, this is what this gives you. And not only that, it gives you in-depth reporting of what's going on. As you can see down here, MITRE ATT&CK is also used to track the TTPs, so the tactics, techniques, and procedures that threat actors are following to gain entry to wherever they might be looking to go, within someone's infrastructure. And that's what the threat research team are doing. They're giving you the full rundown of what these trending hackers are trying to do. It's really, really, really good stuff, along with other pretty unique blogs. So as you can see, AJ, who's on the call today, put some really great reading in there. As I say, if you don't get anything from it immediately, you definitely get interesting reading, and you definitely will get something that will appease you in the future. Otherwise, that's it. I guess from here, I thank you for listening. I thank you for taking the time to go through the Anomaly Threat Stream platform. And if there is anything else that you guys would like to go through, please feel free to ask. The chat box is in the bottom right, and myself and Parthy are here to answer any questions that you may have. All right, so thank you very much, and over and out.